or it's not the end of the world, by the way. If you make a lot of money and then you're like, well, I can't afford to play anymore, you've kind of won, all right? It's kind of fine. If you take the 1 million and out approach, that's not a problem. You know what I mean? Good for you. It's no shame in that. Happy Harvest says, hey Tom, good luck. How to drop the habit of clicking on unopened cards on the board? Saw you not doing it at all. I've never had that problem. Interesting. You mean like if they fold and you click? I don't think it's bad, by the way. You're just like wondering if your flush draw hits or something. If you're getting emotionally invested in it, it's definitely, you don't need to worry about it. But I don't think it's yeah, I don't think it's bad. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I have no advice of how to stop doing it because that's a very novel, unique question. Happy, I've never heard that be an issue for anyone before. So I have no reference point to give advice, unfortunately. We're moving on to the caffeine free, by the way. Cheers, everybody. We should bring out the limps. I'm not doing limps enough, huh? 2 pair, very nice. A nice jam, this, honestly. Like, sure, this. Yeah, I'm just gonna jam. Yeah. Especially on such a dynamic board with such a vulnerable hand. We can just look like we've got a combo draw, which we, you know, I think we could have a combo draw as well in that situation. So like if we had 6, 7 of diamonds, jam wouldn't be too bad, and then balance it with that hand. Some lads on Winamax play 30 to 40k games a month. That's insane. Or like 1,000, like 1,200 games a day. It's I mean, it is doable, and I can see, like, as long as people are kind of like healthy in that pursuit, let's say, I'm kind of cool with it. You know what I mean? If someone's like wants to play whatever, you know, do whatever makes them happy. The challenge, I think, is I want to do 120. The challenge, I think, is to make sure that you're not sacrificing too many other aspects of your life to do it, which I think can be the issue, right? Oh, I clicked on it. Look, I would have made a hand. Obviously calling, but I'm calling a Sheffield or an all-in. Just gonna go for a bet. Says, what's your biggest prize pool in this game? There you go. 6k at the 30s, 10k at the 100s, 25k at the 250s. A lost one and a lost. Beast mode. You stopped playing on Stars? Yeah, over a year ago, to be honest. Some of the old footage will be on Stars, but yeah, we've been on Party ever since. Okay, I mean it's obviously fine. We're a pretty flippy spot there. Sounds insane to me. I don't know why someone would endure such pain. Someone would do GG. I mean, I also think, like, what I will say is there, as you go through life, you'll have different, I think, capacity for obsession. And if you're someone that's, let's say, I don't know, you've lots of people during the lockdown, for example, if you're on your own, even if you're on your own, it's probably not the end of the world to like really dive into poker at that point. It gives you something to do, right? And I can say in the past, like, there's been times when I've been really heavily like poker's the number one priority. It's all I want to do. Everything else is secondary, and I'm much more keen to have a healthy, balanced life now, because I think actually, weirdly enough, it helps the poker. So even from a kind of poker first perspective, you need to not put poker first, if that makes sense. Where I think for a short-term burst, if you want to take 6 months and you say, I'm only going to focus on poker and I'm going to play loads of volume, it's okay. I mean, lots of top poker guys have gone through that. Jack Jack Stack talked about how he had gone through that and was like, yeah, I'm going to commit 10 hours a day, study all this stuff, all these sort of things. What I would say, though, is that for most people at the top end, you develop a bit of a sustainable grind ethic, which means that it's something that you don't burn out from your grind over the years. Because I think if you're sacrificing a lot of enjoyment or health or happiness to play a game in the hope that it will yield positive future whatever, it's always a risk. And I always would say for people both in poker and outside of poker, not to sacrifice too much to earn a potential future that may not be realised. Agroons says, by the way, hey Tomo, good luck. By the way, you look like you've been drinking 4 days straight. Please shave, bro. Sorry, Agroons. I'll work on that. This is a couple of weeks. This is about 8 days no shaving. It's not the best ever, is it? I see there's some old lockdown Twitch replays where like the beard foliage looks a lot thicker, and I'm like, ooh, looking like a kind of sea captain. But yeah, I think I've tried many times, and I just can't get. It's just not thick enough. It's better than it was. The facial hair when I was 23, I was terrible. So it at least looks reasonably not stupid. But yeah. Pedro says, I'm totally mentally drained from and stressed out from work, to be honest, so skipping a session is fine with me. Counting the days till I stop working here. Pedro, we wish you good luck with your work challenges. I hope it's all going okay. The 1 million jackpot and I'm out. It's funny, if I won that, I would keep playing, by the way, if I won a 1 million jackpot. You've heard it here on... If I want guaranteed public declaration, if I win the 1 million jackpot, I'm not quitting. The show goes on. I'm not fucking leaving. You can burn out from boredom, repetitive. They have a bunch of high stakes pros not in direct and higher need of money to pay their living expenses. So that's very true. You have to find often what is a very common thing. I think for so many of the let's say $100 plus regs on in spins is they've progressed up the stake levels, and often when you're doing it, when you're playing, if you're here and you're watching and you're currently playing $5 games, $3 games, $10 games, $25 games, you'll have a kind of image in your mind of get to the hundreds one day, get to the 250s plus one day, and I'll just chill and I'll make 10k a month and life will be great and I'll be sort of laughing in the sun, drinking Diet Coke. And it turns out that's absolutely true, and that's how life is. So yeah. No. No, what happens is you still have to work for it, if that makes sense. So like often the imagined future, you get there and it's not, you work really hard to achieve the thing that you planned for, and then you get there and you think, the first month you think, I'm here, I made it, brilliant. Second month, okay. Third month you're like, well, now what? I'm used to aiming for something, and now I'm just here and I just play. Like, this is a bit boring. This is repetitive, as whatever. And what happens, I think, often is that people then kind of get into this sort of like lack of, they want to find something new to work on or whatever. And then you often see guys like switch a bit. They'll well, let me look at PLO, or let me look at whatever, different game or something, or let me go play tournaments, or something is different, you know. And I think it's really interesting to examine. You have to find reasons to keep playing, find whatever is your focus. For me, it's I've been blessed in a weird sort of way that I've always been really kind of chippy V competitive, which means even if I could play 25s and be pretty motivated, or I could play 100s, I could play 50s, I could play 250s, 500s, and not worry about it, because it's not. It was never about the money per se. It's like I just want to have good Chippy V because that's whatever. But that's kind of helped me a bit in terms of the sustainability, I think, of the motivation. Whereas if the goal is money, is like, and you have a couple of months where you make 25k, and you're used to, let's say, especially if you came from a kind of low stakes background where like you survived for a few months off like $1,000 a month. I speak from experience, like playing 15s, being like, okay, $1,000 a month is what I need to make. And then when you get there, you're like, well, you know, I've just made the next 50 months of money. What's the point in, you know, just who knows? So I think that, yeah, I think it's a very interesting topic to explore, and everybody has to find their own unique motivations that are independent of just the financial consequences of poker, because those will, or it's not the end of the world, by the way. If you make a lot of money and then you're like, well, I can't afford to play anymore, you've kind of won, all right? It's kind of fine. If you take the 1 million and out approach, that's not a problem. You know what I mean? Good for you. It's not no shame in that. So good. What would be the indifference point? Open question to the chat. What is your indifference point in terms of someone offers you X amount of money to stop playing? What is that a number for you?